You know, Tammy, there's an old saying that, you know, if the president gets a cold, the Senate, if you're on the ballot the same year, they get the flu. And if you're a House member and the president gets a cold, you end up with the plague. These people are worried about their own careers.
That is correct.
They're worried about their own elections.
That's right.
And that's why you're seeing the rats jump the ship.
Well, it's true, but they also rely on the party to make sure that they're not stuck with someone like that dragging down the entire ticket. So if you're going to go vote, but many people vote, you know, just for the president and then all the people associated with that party. And so these are individuals who want to keep their jobs. However, also, most of these people have known what the situation is with the party and Joe Biden. And they've said nothing. And they've allowed it to continue because their plan was to kneecap Donald Trump, right? They were going to be Tanya Harding to his Nancy Kerrigan. It was going to take him out of the game. And that didn't work. So now you've got these individuals who may be good representatives locally, who just may, in fact, be affected by this, I think, very seriously. The chaos is going to affect them. People are going to be looking at Democrats, as they should, suspiciously. Look at the condition of the country. This is about policy. The other problem is, and we've got to, I hope the Republicans understand this, that they're trying to make it just about Biden. This is about the policies moved by the anonymous people in the White House making these policy decisions that will be the same no matter who the president is. So Biden was this convenient mascot. It's the policies that are destroying our lives that'll be the same no matter who's put in there.
So that's such a fascinating point. And, of course, that's the thing that gets lost in all of this, Tommy, is the fact that we're not talking about the issues because we're talking about this. And at the end of the day, the Democrats don't even care. They don't even pretend to care about the country and what's best for the country. All they care about is the election.
This is why I've been saying this so loudly for months and months and months, years even. I am so concerned that we are, and I understand why we have to, talk about Biden's cognitive decline. But when they bait and switch him out, which they are so close to doing, I still maintain, the Republican Party will be left flat-footed to combat what I believe is going to be California Governor Gavin Newsom, who's going to look better, who's going to sound better, who's going to be more appealing to people who don't understand the dumpster fire of California and want to give the new young guy a chance. And if we don't spend enough time talking about disastrous policies, we will be flat-footed to compete against a Gavin Newsom. Kamala Harris would be easier. I don't think they're going to take that chance with her. I think they are still propping up Joe Biden to this day because they haven't figured out how to get Kamala Harris out of the way. But we have to talk about the messaging, not just the messenger. Tammy's exactly right.
So you've still got Democrats on the Hill who are standing behind Biden, such as John Fetterman. Also, Joey, listen to this. This is from Congressman John Garamendi, who called out Griff Jenkins for flubbing words during an interview on Fox News Live.
You did that just not more than 15 seconds ago when you were asking the question. We all do that. I've done that 2 or 3 times on this interview, finding the right word, carrying on the discussion. He did that. And now, since he's under such a microscope, all of us looking for those flubs, what would be a normal part of any conversation is considered to be a national security problem. Not so. Not so. You and I, in this conversation, have flubbed words, and I'll probably do it a couple more times before the interview is over.
I'll give you
big deal. We all do it.
Are these just flubs?
Let me tell you something. There's a lack of integrity, and then there's whatever the hell that was. If that man tells you everything's fine, you better panic. If he tries to sell you a car, buy the extended warranty and park it. That's the type of person that he is, and that's the type of people that put us in this situation. To sit there, you don't tell you why Griff might have lost his words, because he's got pages of notes and dozens of questions and a lot of points, and he's got 2 minutes to get them out of this guy that's going to deflect and move and shake and shift with his words. Griff might have skipped a step because he's got too many thoughts. Biden's skipping steps because he can't find them. He has forgotten them. He has lost them. He invokes people that are dead. He loses himself. It's not the same thing. And to sit there and to gaslight us, not the media, but us, the voter, that way, shame on you. If you vote for him, Lord help, I don't know. That bothers me.
Well done. Exactly.
It's amazing. I mean, it really is amazing. And the arrogance of thinking that you don't have to answer questions about this and that they're just verbal flubs.
Yeah. Spit in my face and tell me it's raining, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.